Hello my friend, be welcome to one more video. And for those who don't know, I'm a native here in Brazil, lived here for the last 36 years, let me say like this, my whole life, okay? And in this video I will tell you the best way to make money here in Brazil, even if you don't have money to invest, okay? That's the case of many people here. And in this video I will share my experience here because I've had already for many years 2 companies here in Brazil, personally hired, trained, selected a lot of people of employers in my companies, okay? And nowadays I work by myself, but I have experience on this field and I know what we need here, who makes more money inside a company, okay? And I share my point of view, okay? So in this video I'm not only in my videos as general, for those who follow up with my videos, I don't just speak things like I go to Google and research and put like superficial. I go deep, okay, in my videos, in the Brazilian experience, because as I said, I'm a native. I had experience here. I'm here for too long for knowing how things works, okay? So this video will be a little bit more deep, okay? First of all, you have to understand here in Brazil, we have a gap, a huge gap in the market, in the labor force, okay? And I had this consciousness when I opened my business, okay, my 2 companies. When I had these companies, I could see in the practice that there is a huge gap. And what is this gap? What we really need here, okay? When I was selecting people in my company, I saw that was a lot of candidates available to do like simple tasks like reception, let me say cleaning the floor, things like this, very basic in a company, okay? I think we don't need this because we have a lot of competition in these areas. The wages generally are low, and the wages are not low not because we want to pay low, it's because you have to pay once and twice and 3 times the value in other costs we have inside the regular job, let me say like this, okay? Because you cannot sign up contracts, work contracts freely here. Who make the contracts is the state, okay? It's different in the United States. Let me say that is a free market. You go there, you sign up, I will work like 3 hours a day and receive and when I go out, you just pay what I work and that's it. No, here in Brazil is a lot more complicated. In my point of view, it's intentional. The government do this to prevent people get good salaries, good wages. And it's not a new thing. It's been like this for over the last century, let me say like this, for the over last decades, okay? So, to resume here, to summarize, I don't recommend you come here to get a normal job, okay? Because it's not the better way. So what people do here, is, as I say, it's too difficult to get a job and really get a decent wage that you can survive, let me say like this. So people here generally don't go for normal jobs, okay? People here have basically 2 options. Or they be a public servant, because public servants here had a lot of benefits and incentives. So, like, cannot be fired, never. So they stay in that job that pay a little bit above the private sector and they cannot be fired. They stay there forever. And we call this stability, okay? They have eternal stability. So this make a huge amount of people study to pay in the test to be public servants, okay, in one hand. And the other option, to have decent income in the private sector, is working by yourself, okay? But if you are foreign, what could what are the areas you could work by yourself that could give you the most return, let me say like this, the most amount of money. What I observe in my company is that there's some areas that every company needs that we have scarcity of labor force. Let me give you an example. Air conditioning maintenance, okay? A company in hot areas need to do the maintenance periodically of the air conditioning, okay? And it usually is very expensive. It's a labor, it's a service that usually costs very expensive. And why? Because it's scarce. It's a workforce that is scarce, okay? And you need to pay regularly, over and over again, forever, because the bureaucracy here requires, in most of the commerces, let's say like this, that you do the air conditioning maintenance, okay? And you have to show to the authorities every year a certification of this. So the companies are forced to do this, okay? So this is one example. I would give you hundreds of examples, but let me give you another system. Every company needs systems to optimize their operation, okay? And they pay monthly for this. Accountant, it's a high degree, so if you are foreign, I don't know if you can do this, but you have to pay monthly and it's very expensive. The accountant here is very important because the bureaucracy is so high that you need an accountant, even if you are very small business, okay? So start to think in your head everything that companies need regularly. I don't recommend you do. You can do if you want, but make service for physical person. Okay, I would recommend you to think about what a small company needs over and over again. Another example: security. We don't have public security, so all company generally needs like security cameras, periodic monitoring, okay? And you can charge for the service monthly for having that security, let me say like this, because we doesn't have public security, okay? And it's very dangerous for a company, criminal come here with a gun and just do whatever they want, and that's it, nothing happens. So security is a very issue here. Okay, so we have right now tons and tons of small companies because, as I say, people here has no decent jobs, okay? Generally, okay, obviously there are exceptions, but they are rare. But people that don't want to be a public servant and want a decent income, generally they work by themselves, and we have tons and tons of small companies. Small companies here are the majority of the companies, okay? We have plenty of these in all cities, and if you know how to do some technical stuff, like as I mentioned, you could market for this small business, okay? And that's it. I think this is the best way to make money if you don't have money to invest to open a business here, things like this. Okay, you work by yourself. The taxes are lower, okay, because if you have a small commerce, you have to pay revenue tax, income tax. You have to pay taxes in the labor. You pay a lot of tax, and if you work by yourself, you barely pay taxes, okay? So it's very cheap. So you have to understand how the market in the country works, okay? And I hope I could give you a better view. Put in the comments if you want more videos about this topic, because I have a lot to teach here. for who wants to come here. Okay, that's it. Thank you and see you.